And we're going to have a debate on that in just a second or two. But first, let's just try and talk to the Minister himself, Jairam Ramesh. Thanks for joining us. Now, what exactly seems to have prompted this decision? It couldn't have been an easy one. There were lots and lots of arguments, pro and con. What finally tilted the balance for you?
No, I think, I weighed all the evidence that I had been able to accumulate over the last 4 months, the feedback I got from scientists, both in India and abroad, over 50 of them, the letters I got from the chief ministers and the various state governments, the various representations I got from very serious-minded and academically oriented civil society groups, and my own appreciation after the public consultations that I have had in 7 different cities of India. And I was clear from day one that my decision had to be a measured, balanced, careful decision, not an extremist decision either way. It had to be responsible to science, it had to be responsive to society. The Prime Minister had spoken at the Indian Science Congress on January 3rd, where he talked about the need to promote GM technology in agriculture, but yet remaining sensitive to safety concerns as far as food crops is concerned. So I think this was the background under which this decision took place, and I believe that this decision is a fair-minded decision, arrived at democratically and in the most transparent manner possible.
But from this decision, can we come to any conclusions on the future of GM foods in general? You seem to be indicating that this is specifically for Bt Brinjal and in this particular incident. But as you know, we have more than 50 or 55 pending GM foods, which might also be coming up fairly shortly.
I hope that the communications, between scientists and civil society groups improves. I hope that the scientists are less arrogant about, what they're doing. They listen to other scientists who have a different point of view. I hope they listen to the more serious of our NGOs who have raised perfectly legitimate and valid questions on the safety of this Bt Brinjal. So I think, I hope that, this is an important issue here that we are discussing, and not everybody, who is for GM is an agent of Monsanto, or not everybody who is an anti-GM is anti-progress or doesn't want, food security to improve. I think, unfortunately, the debate in this country has got polarized, and I hope that during the moratorium period, tempers will cool down, the temperature will come down, we will have reasoned debate, we will have a consensus. I'm not looking for unanimity, but I'm looking for consensus, a broad consensus.
Well, very tough to get consensus without at least some sort of unanimity. But, let me just turn to that point you were just talking about on the question of food security, because at the end of the day, that is what a lot of people say, that eventually when you move towards genetically modified foods, or Bt Brinjal for that matter, it does help in food security. It's a very important step for farmers, and as we know, ensuring the livelihood of farmers and making sure that they are protected should be a very important item on our agenda. So don't you think that is a factor that's going to continue to play out in the future?
Well, no, I think the Bt cotton experience has been, on the whole, positive. There are pockets of negative impacts of Bt cotton as well, but I think it's important for us just to pause a little. I mean, let's not get, there are other ways of reducing pesticide use. For example, I've quoted in my note, in Andhra Pradesh today, 6 lakh farmers, 10% of the farmers in Andhra Pradesh are into non-pesticide management of agriculture. That's a hell of a lot of farmers, almost 20% of the gross cultivated area under NPM. So we should explore other ways, and I think science has its role. I mean, Green Revolution was a science-based revolution. We don't want to choke off scientific benefits from flowing to farmers. But remember, in Bt Brinjal, you also have to look after the consumers.
Tuba.com